had it for 12 years now. Um, It was Klein's Bakery before we purchased it, and we had a restaurant down the street, and we would always come down here ever since I can remember. And they were ready to retire, and so we started talking to them, and my wife and I decided to purchase it. And that was 12 years ago, and they stayed and showed us how to do all of the donuts and pastries. And the favorite donut is probably the bacon donut, because it's something that everybody talks about, whether they like it or, a lot of them are afraid to try it. We had one lady that worked for us, and it took her a year before she would try it. And once she tried it, she just loved it. And we did it as a joke. We were talking about it in the back, and they said, "What do you think about that?" So we decided to make some, and we tried it. That's pretty good. And then we put it out as a joke, not thinking it would take off the way it did, and right away, people loved it.
This is Muth Candies, and we started in 1921 by Rudy and Belle Muth, who were actually candy factory workers here in Louisville, because Louisville used to have a lot of actual giant candy factories. And so they decided, after Rudy came home from World War I, that he wanted to start his own candy company. And so they came down to East Market. They opened up a shop with 5 workers, and they started Muth Candy. Neva and Terry are dipping bourbon balls, which is basically bourbon, nuts, powdered sugar, pretty much everything goes in a bourbon ball. And then they're hand-balled into the little round pieces you see. And then they're dipped in dark chocolate, which is pretty much the only thing we dip bourbons in. If you request it, we will dip them in milk chocolate. And there's actually a B on top to tell you that it's a bourbon ball. This is what we call the best of Louisville. It's for Derby. It's a chocolate horseshoe filled with a Majestica and a bourbon. And then for Christmas, we do 2 brittles all year long, but we also do 5 other brittles at Christmas, which include like black walnut, pecan, coconut, peanut, pretty much everything you can think of. We do so much more at Christmas than we do any time of the year, because so many more people come in. Christmas is our second biggest holiday after Easter. So,
my name is Tim Coons McGee, and I'm the owner of the Company Cow. The process, we have these huge machines. They're really just what you would use at home, sort of on steroids. I mean, they're just big, old-fashioned ice cream makers, and you put in the dairy and all the ingredients, etc., and it processes in there for about 8 minutes. When it comes out, it's almost like soft serve. And then we immediately take it and put it into a negative 30-degree blast freezer, which is incredibly cold, and it freezes it just like that. And that's to prevent any ice crystals from formulating. And you don't want to eat ice cream and get big chunks of ice. So it goes into that, and then 24 hours later it goes into what we call a tempering freezer, which is held at 0 degrees. And then it stays there until it goes into one of our dipping cabinets, where it's actually served. The optimal temperature to serve ice cream at is 5 degrees. So that process is about a day and a half. I'm the type of person that I eat it probably every time I eat ice cream, which is way too often. I eat a different flavor because I love them all. I really do. They're like all my children. But particularly like pistachio. I like our ginger 2 snaps. Pretzel Logic, Caltrax. I love ice cream.